My name is Jessica. I have another business partner called Clarissa. Then this is Vishen. So basically, we started this business, I think last year,
July, August.
Around then, yeah. So we started this business because at that time, both Clarissa and I were working in a corporate company. Then kind of wanted to do something different. Aside from the corporate thing, we wanted to earn like some extra income, and we decided to do something that we really like to do. I think we were both into this kind of like candles, a smell kind of thing. So at that time, we thought it was a very, very simple business. Like we didn't know like how big the market is actually in Malaysia. It's actually quite big. So at that time, we only thought there was just two people who are like pioneers in this business. So we thought, okay, let's just jump into it. It should be not that hard. We watched YouTube to teach how to make. Like, it's pretty easy. And Claire is very creative. So I was like, okay, let's just do this business. So I was more of the person who did like the finding the suppliers kind of thing. So Claire was the creative part. So she took a lot of our pictures when we first started. She did a lot of the production making of it. So that's how we started the business in July, August.
The back-end support system, basically to be the production. I make the candles, I pour them out. All the products that we make, whether it's candles, the wax sachets, or even the sample tins, those are the ones that I make. And I also handle on the packing and shipping to our customers. Also, website handling. If you describe how the both of us work, she's more of the ideas and strategy and marketing behind the brand, and I'm more of the executor in terms of pushing the products out and sending them out.
Okay. So both of us, we took psychology. Since I was a young kid, I like to sell things so I get extra pocket money. So that's something I've always been interested in, and I guess it's a passion. Basically, I see an opportunity. I think, we can sell this, we can market this. It's just that I was never good in creative side. I guess maybe if we would say related, it's probably understanding people, understanding what the market wants. So I guess that's the only part.
We did not really put much study into business. Both our backgrounds were not business related at all. So I think in the beginning it was a lot of trial and error for us. We didn't know that there were certain factors we needed to take into account. But then we jumped into the business anyway and started it off. Yeah, so it's been quite a wild ride.
So we didn't really, to be honest, when we first started in July, August, we didn't do much market research. Actually, there wasn't even market research to begin with. So we started like, we made a few samples. So at the time, I still remember it was in Claire started the thing, and then Josh, her husband, and her siblings, they smelled it, like, it's not bad of a smell. So we straight away market it. So that was the mistake. So if anyone were to start a business, we will advise them to really do the thorough market research. So only after we sell it, then there was some hiccups at that time. Because we're using soy wax, so soy wax is very fragile in the sense that the boiling point, everything, we didn't know that much until that time. So when we sold it, there were a couple of hiccups, like people got cauliflower, some of the candles had the scent wasn't very good, and we had to recall it. And that's when we decided, we really, really need to do proper research. So I was working in my company then. So I had a couple of good friends. So what I did was that I actually asked them to smell it. And then, so they smelled it. They were like, this is good, this is bad, this smells really bad. Then we experiment a few times more. Then only we market it out. So then at the same time, we also realized that actually the market in Malaysia is actually really huge. There's a lot of small startups who did these soy wax candles. And then we also had issues of suppliers, where to get our suppliers because our price range for our candles is not that expensive. So at that time, we were selling relatively very cheap. So we had to find good suppliers, and to get suppliers in Malaysia is not that easy, like in terms of the wax, the oils, or even the products that we use, which is tints and glasses and everything. So that's when we really had to do a lot of research to get the suppliers. And even when we got the suppliers, our first batch of tints was badly damaged because we shipped it into Malaysia. By the time we got it, a lot of it we couldn't use. Or some of it you can't even open. Because we buy online, where we trust people. So we had then we just rugi. We can't send it back. We can't sell it to people. Then we realized certain tints we mix with certain oils, and then it has a reaction. So it casts discoloring. So we can't sell that. So it's a lot of things that we didn't foresee. We didn't know that it would happen until we actually made it, and we're like, oh crap, we can't sell this much. Things that we didn't see at all. I've always liked scents and smells, so I've always buy a lot of like candles, perfumes. Like I've always liked smell, so I don't use it. I just like to smell it. That's why we decided to do something that we actually like. We were like, because we're thinking like, okay, worst case, if nobody buys, at least I can use it and at least I like it. We decided that this is something that we really want to do. Yeah.
When it came to making candles, the part about mixing and creating a candle, there are actually a lot of different things and temperature, humidity even, and the container and the wicks that you put in, everything that actually affects how the candle comes out. So that part down to myself to really just try and find the right mix. So I think with that, my love for experimenting kind of match the interest here. It is actually very enjoyable, quite fun to make candles actually. Yeah.
And the thing about candle business is that you really need to be good. Okay, I think you need to be good in maths, which is something I'm not. So because every scent that you put in or every number of wax that you put in, so you need to actually count like the ratio and everything so that it's balanced out. For example, a glass like 100 millimeter to 200 is different. So if you put in too much, then the candle will sweat. So or you put in too little, the smell is not there. Or you use a wrong wick, the candle can't burn properly. Or you use too big of a wick, the whole thing will burn. So it's really like a lot of mathematics. That's where he is really good in. I'm not good in maths. I can't do stuff. So I only know how to say, oh, I like this. This smells nice. This is good to market. This is what thing you should use. That kind of thing. Yeah. Claire actually came up with the beginning, like a lot of the scents, like the apple vanilla. So our first products that we sold were apple vanilla, I think rose, and lavender chamomile. Yeah, so those were the first few scents because those are the very popular scents, and it was quite easy for us to get some of the oils. Then later on we developed a few more, and then Claire came up with some of the combo. So then we realized, oh, okay, like you said, a lot of things is quite easy to get there in the market. So we had to make something that's different for our product. So because we want to differentiate ourselves, so that's why we came up with unique scents like Malaysian kopi, which smells like a famous bread store in Malaysia. Or it smells like the candy that you took it as a kid. So then we also had things like kueh pandan. So it really smells like a Nyonya-ish kind of kueh. And then we had lemongrass, which actually is like a Balinese spa when people actually smell it. We wanted to differentiate ourselves. So then, aside from that, so scents, everyone can do scents. Then we also did tints, like our unique tints that people can customize. Because certain companies, they say, oh, scent A is this tint, scent B is this tint, which is easy, you can do mass production. But for us, we wanted our clients to choose. So therefore, when they choose it, we can't make it like pre-mixed. Like you order today, you get it tomorrow, because we had to make it from scratch. So it's pros and cons. Pros is that people get a choice. Cons is that they can't get it immediately. But that's what we want to offer to people, the choice, the uniqueness of our smell. And aside from that, with the affordability of the candles. So it's not too expensive. It's neither a very cheap range. It's about a mid-range. For example, like we had a wedding in Australia. A lot of Malaysians there, they smell like home. So a lot of them were actually very excited about our candles. So that's one thing that we felt that it was very unique about our product, that we can say that we don't have just so-called Western scents or tropical scents. We have uniqueness, and so that's why I feel that it's important for a business to not just do, but you still need to have a unique point of selling.
The components of a candle, alright, you definitely need three things. The container itself, so whether it's using a tin or a glass jar, or maybe even a clay pot, for example, alright, whatever it is you choose. The wax, so that's of course that supplies the fuel for burning the candle itself, and with any candle you need a wick. So all this, what makes it special is of course the scents that you choose. So oils that you put in that release the scent, you need to measure and calculate how large your container is, how much wax you need to put, and if you are adding additive as well, how much additive you want to put, and with the amount of total volume in your candle itself, how much oil that you want to put in, for your scents to be strong enough. You want to make sure that a candle that you have, you can light it up. it will fill your room with really wonderful scents, and that it will not cause you any problems like having a really small melting pool, for example, or that is too big and too hot, maybe a fire hazard as well. So all of these come together. There is a certain range of temperature that you need to stick to when melting it. You can't put it straight into fire or anything. But usually, what people do is to double boil it in a pot of water. Next, also you have the oils that you add on after that. Before pouring into the candle container, you want to wait for the mixture to cool down a little bit first into a certain range as well of temperature. Then you pour it in. So of course, this is assuming already that you have your container, your wick is already inside. You are making sure that your wick is in the center as well. So that is also a very important part because you want the wick to be central so that it heats up the container evenly. The process for making one candle alone can take maybe 20 minutes to 30 minutes on a good day. Yeah, if you are used to it. But then waiting for it to cool down, harden, and cure a little bit may take quite a few hours. Yeah.
Then when you start doing, when you boil it, so you need to stand there. So it's not like, I can just put it there and do something. So you need to hold the thermometer to make sure the temperature doesn't run away, and you just have to stir it and stir it.
Have you all made kaya before?
It's like making kaya. Because we use soy wax, so there are a lot of wax people in the market. Some people use palm wax, some people use bee wax.
Sensitive?
Yeah, very sensitive, because it's like too hot cannot, too cold cannot, certain mixtures cannot, certain oils cannot. So we have to be very careful when we're actually doing the whole candle processing. Yeah.
Definitely cost.
Yeah, it's cost because so apparently when we started this business, because online business is all the rage right now, right? Everyone does online business. So we decided to do it online, but we wanted to bring it into shop because the problem with candle business, or like maybe I guess maybe you can say even soap, is that people don't buy something that they don't know. They don't know how it smells like. So what we learned was that when I was reading is how to market a product, how to market an online business, is that you need to describe it. You need to take nice photos. You need to describe how it sells. But for a lay person, they'll be they're like, oh, okay, you tell me it smells like kueh nyonya. So what? Like they need to see it physically, or they need to smell it. So when we actually look into different shops, so that's when I went to contact a few vendors and say, physical shops, say, hey, hi, can I put my product there? They say, yeah, but they charge me really expensive. Just a rack, like a little small shelf, only because they say they had a POS system, they had to hire people to take care of the products and everything. So I didn't know, because I honestly thought it was, how expensive can it be? So that's really out of our range. So then we tried to explore with other vendors also. They said similar concept. They said to rent our place you need to pay maybe not in the range of 4 digits, maybe upper 500 onwards. So we couldn't afford at that time. So what happened was that we actually placed it. So there's a shop that I like in Taman Tun. It's a chocolate shop. I really love the shop. It's a handmade chocolate shop. So the uncle's really nice. So we placed our candles there, like so that people can come and smell. We didn't get any customers yet, but it's an alternative to people say, hey, if you really want to smell my candles, you can go to this shop. Plus, you can get a nice hot chocolate, 8 ringgit 50 cents. So it was like a so-called collaboration. So then we also decided to take our business into collaborate with others. So we realized that if we can't place it in a physical shop, we go for booth flea markets. So we go for this not very, very famous brand, which is not many people go, honestly, but at least we try to market our product there so people can come. We can tell people that, hey, we have our product. And that was a good thing about it, is that we actually network with other people. So we have this really close person that we actually work with. She sells soap. We collaborated with her for some Valentine products. Then she introduced us to another florist. So that's how we market. So we help each other to promote our products, even though it's still online, but we get a different target market. We tried the websites like Shopee and Lazada, but even that also for us personally, not many people come and visit our products.
The easiest to start off with is, of course, on social media, Instagram, Facebook. That costs zero, right? To start an account and just post pictures and get people to come in. And then the next thing is how you're going to market yourself. Get yourself out there amongst so many other companies as well. Do you spend money to advertising? So that people can know about your products. or do you wait for your brand to slowly grow organically? So that's the cost versus time that you need to take into account. If you are willing to spend a bit more money to speed up your brand, go ahead. That's fine. Next thing is, of course, if you are not able to open up a physical store, and I think most people don't have that capital to begin with, next step will be a website, of course. For sure, website, you also need to pay for website fees, the domain name itself, hosting the website. And if you don't have any web development skills like us, you might need to pay for a developer to help you all build your website. So that's small cost. We're going to have to add that in. At this stage, we have got the social media up, we've got a website up. Definitely, if you're looking at low cost, just social media. Some people can actually survive on social media selling alone.
Aside from that, we wanted to market our product, to do events. So we actually contacted a few hotels. Again, when I contacted hotels, they tried to take advantage of us, gave us very low ball prices.
There's almost zero return, or
and
we
in fact,
might even give the product at a loss.
And then I explained to them, I said, no, even my cost of making one candle is more than that because we use good oils. Then they said that we can give it as a supplier. We will earn more money in return because at the end of the day, a lot more people will engage, and which is true, but it's up to a person whether you feel that this is a good risk to take or not. Because for us, because we can't afford it, because we don't have there was only the time Clarissa, me and him, so there was not enough manpower. Second of all, I'll be at the losing end to make products to earn some money. So that's something that we decided at the end, it's not worth it. Then we contacted a few other hotels. Again, they want good products at a very low price. So we realized that maybe events and hotels is not something that we can do. So then we try to focus on weddings, as door gifts and everything. So we then came out that maybe our big things are not feasible. So we did smaller samples, which some people are open to it. They took it as door gifts, wedding gifts. So again, that's how we promote our product. We had some connections in the media, so some of our friends actually published our thing. Again, that's good publicity because we didn't have to come up money. And then, if you know influencers, that's really good. They promote things for you. We don't really know anyone. But we did try out to reach out. So there's a lot of methods like online. You can reach out to people. If you have the money, go to physical shops. If you have extra money, advertise it, publish it. Do really nice websites. A lot of our target audience likes social media, be it young people. We even have older aunties who really like our products, and they don't really know how to use the website, so they say it's very complicated. Can I just text you what I want? Okay, yes, why not? And then we are very thankful. So we had a couple of friends who did some bazaars during Christmas. Then we actually ran in. Good that we actually get our product out there. So we try to get our product out there in a minimal cost.
There used to be a sort of stereotype a few years ago, like, you have an idea, you go do a startup and earn big bucks and just exit and retire already. It's not a walk in the park. Definitely. You have an idea and all that, but if you have a vision for your business, you should stick with it, and also to be patient with business. So as long as you can afford, for your business to say not be profitable for 3 months, a lot of prep work needs to be in place before you start a business. You really need to do your market research, you need to do your R&D, you need to make sure that your products are at a stage that it works. We had to do a lot of trial and error along the way. Since we started, the products that we started off with, we are not actually selling those already. We've actually moved on to a different range of products, today itself. So it's best that you make sure you do all the R&D that's required first. That would really help with less headaches when you launch your business.
I also feel like people think entrepreneurs, you either born with it or you actually you have an idea you can sell. So what I realized is that I actually need to read a lot. It's not just like the product that you want to sell. For example, like us candles, we just read about candles. It's sometimes we actually read we actually watch videos that are not related to candles. So it's like a very good person who started off selling Starbucks, or why Starbucks is such a successful thing. So that's when we realized, oh, they actually market it this way. They actually went to door. So take what is relevant and we try to sell it. So it's not just so much on I have an idea, I have some money, I can do it. You need networks, you need to read a lot, you need to be very, very hardy. And because honestly, it was discouraging. Like for us, a few months until recently, only we were still at loss. Honestly, we earn money, but to get back some money and then to actually
reinvest
the money, it took a while actually, and that was honestly something I wasn't prepared. I thought I sure can do one, sure can earn money. Then actually, the more I read about stuff, it's not easy actually. My advice: if you want to do it full time, make sure you have a lot of money. If you don't have, stick to your day job. You still need your day job. Then only do this in the weekend. And the people that we actually talk to they're selling different stuff. Like our soap person, they actually have a day job. So then we also ask like, how do you sell your stuff? So it's network. We exchange ideas. And sometimes we also exchange like where to get best suppliers. People networks also very, very important. I guess like I'm really happy honestly when we actually sell a product and people actually like it. So we have some very, very loyal customers. It started off with just like a friend, and then after that, then when we market our product, then some people they actually came back. They started off buying, and then they're like, oh, we really like your product. Then they started off buying, and that's honestly very, very exciting because they genuinely support our product and they really like it. At first, because if it's a friend who buys it, they're like, oh, maybe my friend kesian me, maybe my friend's just being nice. To the point that I actually felt bad on selling the things to my friends. Like, can you stop buying for me for a while? Because I don't know whether you genuinely like it. Then after that, when other people started buying, we're like, wow, we actually might be doing something right. Yeah. So that's, for me, is the most joyful part about being an entrepreneur.
Seeing all the work that you put into your business, and you get some really good testimonials from customers who come back and buy products. You know that they really like our products enough to stick with us and not buy other brands, for example. So you know that, oh, okay, this is something that we have done well. Yeah, definitely.
So like for example, we also started off recently with a sample kit. It's a small mini version of our candles because we realized that maybe people are interested in our candles, but they're not. I mean, you're not going to invest, let's say, $45 to buy something that you're not very sure, especially if it's online. Let's say you don't know how the smell is. So we come up with these three mini samples for 20 ringgit, and actually people like it. A lot of them buy this idea, and then after that, people actually say, "Hey, I want to buy your bigger version." So that's when we're like, we are doing something right, and that's again something very exciting. So we realized that we needed to listen to people. So before we launched something, we actually did this survey thing where we asked people, would you like to do this? Would you like for us to come up with a sample kit? Would you like for us to come up with a linen product? So like he said just now, we started off with just 3 cents. Now we have 10 cents. And then after that, we come up with, aside from candles, we come up with sachets, we come up with melts, we come up with linen, and sample kits.
Linen spray.
Yeah. Not everything is sellable. Certain products are better off than another, but it's good when we get people who come back and say, hey, we really like your product. Recently someone asked, are we going to do diffusers? And we don't have that capacity yet. So it's good when we get interactive feedbacks and people genuinely are invested in your business.
One thing is, it took longer for us to ship out our products to our customers. Some had to wait.
We could only go to one post-laundry. So unfortunately, some of the products didn't get delivered on time, missing. Because we try to explain to customers, some of them they didn't really understand, but some were really nice.
If we needed to buy supplies, then it's also the delay caused by MCO.
There are good points also. Like a lot of people actually started buying. We actually see a slight rise in our business because people were shopping more online. I guess people work from home. They wanted some nice smells. So our business actually increased. We invested some money in doing advertisements during the MCO period. So there was an increase in our customers. But we had to explain to them in advance that your product might be delivered later. So, and I think coincidentally, during the MCO was when our website actually launched.
Yeah, when we launched.
So it was a good increase of traffic. When the customer told us the product actually didn't come, and it's for about 2 weeks, then we tried to check it in the post, the tracking. They somehow said there was no tracking details. I think they said
as a business, and when you're starting a business, sometimes bite the bullet when it comes to incidents like this. These are, of course, unexpected costs. Even if you've just sold like 200, 300 worth of product, but it gets lost in shipping, it's on you to decide, whether you want to try and make it up to your customer and replace the product, even though it's, a lot of loss to yourself.
We also had products where we delivered, and because we are doing candles, right, some of it or like sachets is very fragile, and the product actually was damaged. So when we sent it out, it was actually good, but when the customer then took a picture and said, hey, your product actually damaged, then again, like I said, the product, that time we only sold like maybe about 100 each, but because we had to replace the entire set, it again adds up to our cost of business, and that's something people need to prepare. By nature, I'm a person like who I try to foresee as much risk, and I try to plan contingency plan. So there's plan A, plan B, plan C.
You talk about risks like going into a market that is pretty saturated. How we started our business, actually, from what we share, it's quite risky because you're an industry that you just take a look at big players, you find out there's just a few. But a few months down the road, we realized that there are actually companies in the double digits selling candles in Malaysia, right? At least about 10 to 15, that sell along the same range, same type of candle wax, for example.
Right. Some sell same tins as well, so that's a risk. That's why we come up with a plan of, okay, let's make ourselves unique. So that's the alternative to the risk. Another risk is like, okay, so people can't smell it, then what's next? So that where we see risk, we can't avoid it, so we're trying to find plans that, okay, so people can't smell your candles, what are you going to do next? People are selling the same tins, selling the same product, maybe different sense, so what are you going to make yourself different?
She's born with it.
Because as a kid, I used to sell junk food to earn money. Like, my parents give me cereal, then after that I would just repackage it and sell it to people for like 50 cents and earn extra money. So I've always been interested in earning money. But honestly, again, like when we went in, I thought it was very, very easy. It's like, okay, so Claire is good in doing production, she's designing, she's very good. He's good in counting mathematics, so he can count the oil. So I thought it was that simple. I'll come up with the money, let's try to do it. Then we realized like there's a lot of risk, like just now we mentioned, and then we realized, we actually need to read up more on how people actually market a product. It's not just as I put it there, people will buy. I need to learn how to market it. So I think these things you can actually be taught. You need to develop the habit of reading and learning and listening to people. So we are very fortunate. We had some friends who were already doing some business. We had friends who were in a consulting business. So a few of our consultants, good friends, they actually said, hey, why not you try to sell it this way, or why not you try to market it this way, price it this way. One of them, our good friend, is a son of parents who are hawker shops, and the hawker shop business is super good. So he's like, hey, you should sell it this way, you should market it this way, buy this thing, and then don't give them discounts. The product is good. If you give them discount, it could be a perception that your business is not, your thing is a cheap thing that you can actually give them. And honestly, when we started our business, we thought, give discount, people should buy. That's how we learn little tricks here and there, that maybe it's not always a good idea to give discount. Depends on what your product is or how you want to market your product. What kind of target audience you want to sell it to. Books that I read didn't teach me that, so I learned a lot from people. Sometimes reading, like how to market your things, watching videos that are quite boring, honestly, like how successful people develop their stuff, how they started from humble beginnings. It's something not interesting, but it's something that we need to learn. You might have an interest to sell something, you might think you're good. Honestly, I think you need to learn and read a lot.
Even if you're born with those extra skills or abilities, you still need to back them up. With everything that goes into a business, the knowledge, the money, the time and effort that you put into it. I don't think there's any real shortcuts to entrepreneurship.
That's one thing I realized when we started this thing, that, for example, because our product is very scent driven, I went up to a lot of people, like from even I think like the kakak cleaner who works in my old place, and she asked her, hey, do you like this smell? To people like bosses, and sometimes, and you have to be really thick-faced. So one thing about entrepreneurship, you have to be really thick-faced, and that's something that is not easy. Approaching people like vendors, say, hey, would you want to buy my product? Can I put my here? to the point that, hey, I actually have this little thing, I'm doing this side business, I'm not asking you to buy it, I'm just asking you to smell it, would you be interested to smell? So then from then that's how I actually got a lot of our customers in the beginning. They're like, hey, your thing smells nice, can I buy it? Do you actually sell it? When I actually went with the intention of, hey, can you smell it? Because I wanted to gather feedback from different people to improve the product. It wasn't much on the intention of selling my product to them. Because of this network thing, then that's how you get ideas. So that's when we actually realized that network is really important. Having a thick face is important. If you got money extra, that's really good. It's street smart also at the same time. I guess you really need that, because book smart also, because you need to learn how to read a lot of things. So then entrepreneurship isn't just so much as I have an interest, I want to sell something. I honestly thought it was just that. It's not this way.
One is definitely the amount of money we put in. So I guess when it comes to something, if you really invest into it, you want to see a return. So it drives you to try and earn something back.
People liking our candles?
Yeah, definitely people liking our candles. Being able to share, love for scents and candles, and actually, getting to see people enjoy our candles. Yeah, that's definitely something that we look forward to. It's what motivates us to keep going.
I think if they have a huge passion, that's good. That's a good stepping stone. So I think yes, they should, but they should also know what is the what are they getting into. So like earlier we said that you need to know that your business might not be earning money for the first 3 to 6 months or even maybe a year. So they need to be mentally prepared. Do a lot of R&D, because you need to know how your market is. Don't be like us, we went in blindly. Then they also need to know network, reading. They need to be very interested in reading and interested in learning other things from their business. So if they can. And I guess sometimes also important to get some mentors or some people who are willing to guide you. And sometimes it could be people that you never thought they actually can give you advice, but sometimes what their advice is really one of the best advice ever.
If young people are interested in starting a business, it would be a pretty good time actually to go into it. I think the cost of going into business in this age is quite low as compared to last time. A lot of things about entrepreneurship you can actually find online nowadays. With all these basics, I think it is actually very cost effective. There's lower entry costs nowadays. So if someone wants to start a business, already have an idea of what they want to sell, they know what the market is doing, how to differentiate themselves from the rest of the market. With enough preparation, definitely go for it. You need to also be prepared to put in the time and effort and capital as well. Yeah, whatever that's needed. Be patient. Money doesn't come in straight away. Be prepared to put in lots of money before you see any returns. Always have the mindset that it's for the long term. What you put in today, you're thinking of maybe a few years down the road before you see, a lot of returns, a lot of success. You might not have thought about, these kinds of challenges suddenly coming up. Don't fret, because that's actually very normal for any business along. It can be something so unexpected, like an MCO, which caused so many businesses to suffer. If you're resilient and patient, I think that's actually two things that can really help you along the way.
I really, really feel that network is really important, and not just network with certain people who you think can bring benefit, but network with a wide range of people, especially if your business is something that's targeting everyone. And then also at the same time, read up a lot. Sometimes when I read something like it's not even related to it, but then I'm like, wow, okay, I get ideas from it. And yeah, so I would say that you need to be very inquisitive. Is that what you call that? Like to learn something that is not just
inquisitive.
something that what it is, what's your nature of business that you want to do.